Marcia and I were married for 38 years. And for most of those years, I thought I was a good husband. I didn't drink. I didn't chase other women. I came home every night. I built our house with my own hands. I put food on the table and shoes on the children's feet. I thought that was enough. I thought that was the job. I was wrong. And it took Marcia dying to show me how wrong I was. A few weeks before she passed, we were sitting together, just the two of us. And she was quiet for a long time, which wasn't unusual because Marcia was always comfortable with silence. But this silence was different. This one had weight to it. And then she said something I will carry to my grave. She said, "Winston, you gave me a good life, but you never let me in." I didn't understand. I said, "What do you mean? I'm right here." "I've always been right here." And she looked at me with those brown eyes, tired now, so tired. And she said, "You were here, but you were never really here." And I wanted to argue. I wanted to defend myself, but something in her face stopped me because I knew she was right. Somewhere deep down, past the pride and the excuses, I knew exactly what she meant. Let me tell you about the woman I married. Marcia was the kind of person who noticed everything. She noticed when the neighbor's dog was limping. She noticed when our daughter Sharon was upset before Sharon even knew she was upset. She noticed when the jasmine was about to bloom because the air smelled different in the morning. She moved through the world with her eyes and her heart wide open. And she married a man who barely looked up from his work. In the beginning, it was different. When we were courting, I was present. I was there. I noticed her laugh and the way she tilted her head when she was thinking and the way she always touched my arm when she agreed with something I said. I noticed everything about that woman because I was paying attention. But somewhere along the way, I stopped paying attention. Not all at once, slowly. So slowly I didn't even feel it happening. She used to ask me to go walking with her on Sunday mornings. Just a walk, nothing fancy, through the hills, past the river, up to the ridge where you can see the whole valley. She loved that walk. She said it was the only time she felt like the world was big enough to hold all her thoughts. I went with her a few times. Then I started saying, "Not today, I need to fix the truck." Or, "Maybe next week, I'm behind on the Thompson job." Or, "You go ahead, I'll come next time." And eventually, she stopped asking. She went alone, every Sunday, for years. My wife walked through those hills alone while I was under a truck or bent over a workbench. I told myself she didn't mind. She liked the quiet. She enjoyed the solitude. But that was a lie I told myself because the truth was harder. The truth was, I couldn't be bothered. The walk didn't seem important. It was just a walk. But it wasn't just a walk. It was her asking me to be with her. And I kept saying no. She used to hum while she cooked. Every evening, this little melody. I heard it 1,000 times. And I never once asked her what the song was. Not once. She'd be in the kitchen, humming, and I'd be in the living room staring at the television. And it never occurred to me to walk in there and say, "Marcia, what is that song?" After she died, I asked Sharon. Sharon said it was a hymn their grandmother used to sing, a song about being grateful for small blessings. Marcia had been singing about gratitude every evening of our marriage, and I never even heard it. I was in the next room and I never heard it. That's what kills me. Not some big failure, not some dramatic betrayal, just a man sitting 10 feet from his wife, not listening. You think the thing that destroys a marriage is cheating or fighting or money problems. Those things are bad, yes, but the thing that really destroys a marriage is indifference. It's the slow, quiet death of not paying attention, of assuming your partner will always be there, of thinking that loyalty and faithfulness and providing are the same thing as love. They're not. Loyalty is the frame. Love is what goes inside it. And if the frame is empty, it doesn't matter how strong it is. Marcia tried to tell me many times, in many ways. She'd say, Remember when we used to talk for hours? And I'd say, we still talk. But we didn't. Not really. We talked about the children, about the house, about money. We talked about logistics. We didn't talk about each other, about our dreams, our fears, what we were feeling. When was the last time I asked Marcia what she was feeling? I can't even remember. And that is a shameful thing for a husband to say. She wanted to learn pottery. She mentioned it 3 or 4 times over the years. There was a woman in the village who gave lessons on Saturday afternoons. Marcia wanted to go. I didn't say no exactly. I just didn't say yes. I said, I said, that sounds nice. I said nothing that mattered. And she never went, because what she really wanted wasn't the pottery. She wanted me to say, that sounds wonderful, let's go together. She wanted me to want it with her, not because I cared about clay, because I cared about her. After she passed, I found her recipe book in the kitchen drawer, and between the pages, she had pressed flowers, wildflowers from those Sunday walks, dozens of them, faded and flat and beautiful. She'd been collecting them for years, carrying little pieces of those mornings home with her. Mornings she spent alone because her husband couldn't be bothered to walk with her. I sat at that kitchen table holding those dried flowers, and I cried harder than I cried at her funeral, because those flowers were proof that she had been living a rich, beautiful, tender life right next to me, and I had been too blind and too busy and too foolish to share it with her. When she said I never let her in, she meant this. She meant I kept her at arm's length. I gave her the house and the stability and the faithfulness. And I thought that was everything. But she didn't want everything. She wanted me, the real me, the one who used to notice her laugh, the one who used to walk with her and talk with her and be curious about what she was thinking. That man disappeared, and I didn't even notice he was gone. Here's what I want to tell you, and I need you to really hear this. If you have someone in your life who loves you, a wife, a husband, a partner, anyone, do not make the mistake of thinking that showing up is enough. Showing up is the minimum. Showing up is what roommates do. What a partner needs is to be seen, to be heard, to be chosen, not once, at the wedding, every day, in small ways that nobody else would notice, but that mean everything. Ask them what they're thinking about. Take the walk with them. Say yes to the pottery class. Listen to the song they're humming. Not because you have to, because you want to, because the person you love is inviting you into their world, and that invitation won't last forever. Marcia stopped inviting me years before she died. She had given up. Quietly, without a fight, she had accepted that I was a good provider and a bad companion. And I didn't even notice because I was so convinced I was doing everything right. I live alone now. The house is quiet. Her chair is empty. Her coffee cup is still in the cupboard. And I talk to her sometimes. I say the things I should have said. I tell her about my day. I ask her what song she was humming. I tell her I wish I had come on the walk. She can't hear me, but I say it anyway, because the words need to go somewhere. Better late than locked inside a man's chest forever. You know, Marcia used to say that Jamaica sings if you listen. The crickets, the tree frogs, the wind through the hills. She said it was the island singing itself to sleep. I used to hear it as noise. Now, I hear it as music. Funny how you only learn to listen after the person who was trying to teach you is gone. She taught me that. Late, but she taught me. If someone you love is still asking you to take the walk, go. Don't wait. Don't say next week. Don't say maybe later. Go now. Because one day, they'll stop asking. And that silence is the loneliest sound in the world. Walk good, my friend, and walk with someone.